Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Sounds Like Lisa with me, Lisa Gonzalez, your hostess. I will be here today all hour. It is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Thursday, April 22nd, and we are now entering Taurus. So it's going to be an interesting next month coming up as we're changing of the signs. I'm looking forward to seeing how Taurus is going to be handling how you're going to be handling Taurus as we go into this next month with this next sign coming up. I will be doing live readings today, as well as doing the Lisa Scopes. If you're looking to try to find me, you can find me on Facebook Live and go on the live chat room, or you can go on Sounds Like Lisa. I should be able to see everybody's chats today. We're going to figure this out. It's a work in progress as we go along. It is a wonderful spring day here in Boulder, Colorado, and I am looking forward this next week coming up to being on the road with my daughter. We are going to go to Minot, North Dakota to get her stuff from college because she's transferred colleges and we have a week off. So next week, I may not be able to be live, but we'll see if I am. I might be live on the road. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I'm glad you're here today. I know that it has been a long 22 days here in April in 2021. If you like what you hear and you like what you see, please feel free to hit the like button on the bottom of the screen here. And if you like it, and if you want to hear more, because I'm on weekly, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to join the chat room, and I'm seeing a lot of people joining the chat room today. Hello, everybody. I can see you all on my different screens here. So hopefully we can do this live simulcast. I can answer questions. I can get into this afternoon with as much ease as possible. I'm learning, everybody has a learning curve, so bear with me. What else do I want to say? Okay, I just want to let you guys know that this upcoming Saturday, if you don't have plans and you want to know how to do the tarot or how to read the tarot a little bit better, I am holding a class. You can find that on 12academy.com if you want to take a look at that. I know that 12academy.com, www.12academy.com, I'm going to be having my basics class. It's a 2-hour class. It's $30. Can't beat the price for the instruction that you're going to be given from me, but I'm looking at making this class for the very beginner, somebody who has never even been able to read the cards. I want you to be able to take this class, know that like by the time you get out of this class, you're going to have a better understanding of the cards, how to use them, how to interpret them, and hopefully find a love for them as we go on into the next classes after the first class, right? So I'm looking at teaching everybody. I've got a few students. I'd love to get a few more students. I love small classes. That'll be really intimate, but this is my first class. So if you want to learn a little bit more, please join up, sign up again, like I said, on 12 Academy, www.12academy.com. I will be there. It's going to be from on April 24th from 12 p.m. To 2 p.m. my time, or I believe it's 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it's 2 p.m. Eastern Time, okay, and 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're anywhere else in the world, you'll have to figure it out. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm really happy to have the people that I have in the class so far, but I'd like to have some more people if you guys get a chance to figure out if you have no plans on a Saturday. It's just 2 hours, but the knowledge you'll get will be something that you can use for a lifetime, right? And you can go from there. Even if you've never, ever held a card or just was curious about the cards, this is the perfect class for you, okay? This is my first time I've done this class online. I do teach this class, but I've never actually taught the class when it's been online with 12 Academy. So I invite you guys. It was $50. I put the price down so that everybody can Everybody can participate if you'd like, okay? So I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the class. And yes, hi Jean, hi Terry, hi Tiffany, hi Likes, hi Christopher. Okay, everybody is like joining in right now. And I wanted to let you know today I'm going to be using this new deck. Okay, it's called the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. It's a beautiful deck. It is by Tori Hartman, and the cards kind of look like this, okay, on the one side. And then if we look over on the other side, we'll see that we have these beautiful, vivid cards in different colors. I'm looking forward to using them and seeing how we pull for today from this deck. Since we're in a new era here, we're in Taurus. Let's just take a look to see what the cards will be telling us as we get into this next week. Last week, what I saw was I had a lot of questions about career. I had a lot of questions about love life. I'm here to take a look at those again today. I'm looking forward to seeing what the peanut gallery out there wants to say to me. Looking forward to seeing how everybody is doing as well. So yeah, let's get going, okay? I'm just going to shuffle up a little bit here, and I'm going to get, let's see, I'm going to get my handy dandy thing out here for a second. This was April 15th. Nice. But now we're going to go to April 22nd so that I know what I'm looking at here. Awesome. All right. And we'll just take a look at what's going on here. Even if you've never ever thought you could be a reader, this is a really good way to learn. I think anybody can use the cards. There's so much to learn from the cards. Even if you don't feel that you're intuitive yourself, this is a great way to find out the messages. It's a great way to divine divination. There are so many different ways to kind of tap into your intuition and your subconscious and the energies around you, whether it's runes or astrology or the tarot, or I know people to use scrying. There's so many different types, but this is this is my modality that I like to teach because I think it's really easy to teach. It's really easy to pick up, and it's something that all of us can do. It's a matter of cards and interpretation, but there are, uh, little key like nuggets that you can learn that will give you an understanding, a deeper understanding of what the messages are that are coming to you. Okay, so I am going to be putting over here, I'm just going to rip this off. Yep. And we're going to be going to see what's going to be coming up for today, okay? And so the first card is for Capricorn. Oh, this is so beautiful. So Capricorn, I'm hoping you guys can see this. Capricorn has the 5 of coins. Isn't she pretty? I'm trying to get her so you guys can see her. The 5 of coins. Now, if you remember, or if you haven't remembered, and this is the first time you're tuning in, let me just tell you a little bit about this card. This is a card that is in the pentacles or coins. Whenever we have coins, and this is what I'll talk about in the class, is what these different suits mean, right? Whenever we have a Capricorn, okay, for your sign, we see the 5 of coins. So the first thing you notice is that it's in the pentacles, or coins, which is in the realm of manifestation. So you know something is going to be coming up in your life that is the resolution or the outcome, or basically it's the result of what you have been doing. Now, whenever we have a 5, we know that 5s are usually the one card in the deck, like the one number in the deck that is stuck. It's kind of in the middle between 1 and 10. There are 10 cards, right? And so 5 is in the middle and it needs a little help sometimes. So 5 of coins for Capricorn is basically saying that you're kind of stuck in the middle of what you're doing here. The outcome is it's depending on the other things that are going on around you. Last week you had the 10 of swords, now you have the 5 of coins. So the worst is over. Like, the past couple weeks have been really difficult for you. The worst is over now, and now you're finding yourself trying to be stuck in the kind of the situation and looking for a way out. Okay. The result is this: it's like you're not super happy with where you're at, but at least the worst is over and you're trying to find the momentum to go forward with the next phase of what's going on in your world. Now, this is a result of like you putting in some time and effort into something and not being very happy. You could feel very frustrated about this, but my suggestion to you, Capricorn, is to let it be and figure out a way to make a new beginning without like focusing too much on what didn't work out for you in the past. Okay. So this is calling for a new attitude or a new way of like starting things over and a new beginning. I know you're in that middle of like being stuck right now, but this too is going to have like a week like this, and then you're going to find some new momentum to go forward with what we've been seeing with this. You haven't had a great couple weeks here, but we're getting into a better phase for you, Capricorn. So hang tight, Capricorn. It's not always going to be bad, but it does feel that way. I will point out that blue here, the blue around it, is talking about an education. This was a big education for you as far as learning how to deal with a lot of the what do I want to say? A lot of the frustrations around this situation. I mean, nobody likes to be in a tough situation, and as far as this is concerned, the key to this is moving on, figuring out how to move past where you've been and moving forward. And I mean, there are people around there that are going to help you. Okay, remember that there is help around you. Just open up your eyes. Um, it will be there. And in this card, it had a woman and a child. So basically, sometimes we have to leave behind and just take what we have. We have our kids with us. We have a situation to where it wasn't a great situation, but we have to realize that we are moving forward, moving on, and that may mean like being the head of the household and moving forward as well. I mean, you're going to be the leader in all of this. There are people looking up to you usually. When you see that child, that just means that you're going to be leading other people as well. So, hang in there. This is an education, but you're doing okay, Capricorn. The worst is over. It's time to move forward, move on. Okay. Aquarius, last week you also had a 10. You had a 10 of wands. Ooh, this week is pretty good. This week is the 9 of coins. And I really want you guys to see how pretty this is. I really love these cards. There's something about these cards that are so magical. I just sent them to a friend of mine too. She actually looks like one of these people in the cards, and I was like, you have to have the card that looks like you. Here we go. There we go. My ring light doesn't like to show this, but this is the 9 of coins, Aquarius. Now the first thing we notice, the 9 of coins. The first thing we notice about this is that it's an orange card. It's very fiery. It has a lot of energy around it. We see that there's this beautiful woman. She is like looking into like a mirror or like into like I don't know. It's in indicative of looking into the future in a sense. Okay, the 9 of coins is quite nice. It's showing that what you have manifested is a good thing, basically. I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, we always want to manifest the most for ourselves, right? But this is a positive manifestation for you. Okay. Um, I do feel that when you have this, you're looking at moving forward. You're looking at the new things that are coming towards you. You're taking a look at what you have gained, what is in stock. It's like taking a personal inventory in some ways. The financial choices that you made and the choices that you have been trying to do is now manifesting. And now you can see this woman in the middle has choices. So coming up this next week for you, this should be good for you, Aquarius, as far as like figuring out what it is that you want to continue to do. It's showing that you're having security. It's also showing that you have choices. So in this next week, as you went from the Ten of Wands to the Nine of Coins here, or the Nine of Pentacles as we call it, we know that you are on fire. Things are going well for you. You're taking in an inventory and you have choices and you're moving forward. So definitely take a look at what is coming up this next week and do an evaluation. You're going to find that you're in a really good spot. And I'm proud of you, Aquarius, because you got some choices that you can make now. And this inventory that you're doing is going to show you what you have accomplished. Okay. Last week, the Pisces had the Knight of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. So we know that you had to make some action really quickly. Okay. So this week, if I can get this fully on. This week you have the Seven of Swords. Now, sevens always indicate change. Okay, we know that when we get a seven, we know things are going to change suddenly or quickly, and there are changes. Now, she's gathering up her swords, she's kind of like getting herself together. So, swords are also an indication of struggle. So last week you had to move quickly. You had to like make a decision. You had to figure out what was good for you. And now this week you're like looking at, as we're going into the week, you're changing your strategy here. Okay. Seven of Swords is kind of really interesting in the fact that like it's a change of action. Basically, you have been like, probably because you had to jump on what you were jumping on before, now you're jumping on like changing your game, changing your boat that you were in, kind of. And it's kind of interesting to see how this works for people sometimes, because they don't really realize that they have to make changes until like this kind of confronts them and hits them the way this is hitting you. So I just want you to know that this is not the worst thing that's happening for you. It may feel like, oh no, I got to make these changes. But honestly, these changes that are happening to you is that you have to like move forward. For you, Pisces, it's really hard to move forward sometimes. And it's going to be something where you're feeling very impatient as well, because you don't want this change to happen necessarily. You don't want what the universe is asking you to do sometimes, but this is what you have to do in order to move forward. That purple that was surrounding the card was saying that this is like a fated thing, like you were supposed to be changing or moving in this direction, even if you don't want to. You know, what the question like that I ask you is, when you look at this card, you will see, if I can get it clearly, that she picks up two swords and she leaves the rest behind, right? So if she's only taking some of the swords, or I guess she picks up the rest and leaves like two behind, I guess, is sometimes you can't take everything with you. Okay. This is something that you've got to understand. Sometimes you have to be adaptable. Sometimes you need to make these changes in order to get yourself, the changes that you need. And you may not like the changes, okay? But they're getting you to where you want to be. So I want you to remember this, Pisces, because sometimes it's a difficult lesson. I told you to jump last week on the things that are coming your way. If you did, you will be making these changes. You may not like the changes you're making right now, in a sense, because you have to be adaptable, but at the same time, it's going to take you into a different position. So hang tight this next week when you make these choices and you see where you're going. It's not always easy to make the change, but these changes are good for you. Okay, let's see. I'm going over to Aries. Aries over here. Last week you had the Eight of Wands, and now we go into the Ace of Cups. Now, aces. Aces are something that I talk about often, and I got to make sure this ring, maybe if I do that, it won't be so bad. Okay, there we go. Well, it still gets the ring light. So this Ace of Cups, if you notice the Ace of Cups here, it's one woman. She's holding a chalice in her hand. It's up like in like like this exalted position, right? So she looks like she's really worshiping it. This means new beginnings, okay? New emotional beginnings. All the red that's around this card is telling you it's a very fiery, a very inspired card. You're going to be having new beginnings, Aries. We've been looking for this coming in from last week. We know you've been having some choices that you were trying to make. And with the Eight of Wands to the Ace of Cups, we know you have some new emotion behind like some of the things that you're desiring. It's actually very fortuitous for you, okay? Whenever we see an Ace of Wands, we know there are new beginnings, which is what you've been striving for a while. I know this because I have a lot of areas in my life have been looking for this. And that Ace of Wands is really saying, hey, I mean, the Ace of Cups, sorry, I don't know if I've been saying that wrong, but the Ace of Cups is basically saying, you know, you have new beginnings. This is very exciting. Um, it's like you want to just throw yourself into this new endeavor that you're doing. I encourage you to do that because the energy that comes behind the aces is what drives us to like move forward. And you'll find renewed energy if you tap into this, and you'll probably find some joy in the new beginnings that you have. So this is good to see yourself doing these new beginnings, and it is exciting because it can take you into a realm of like happiness and commitment and joy if you can find what you're really like emotionally behind. So take a look at what you're emotionally behind next week, Aries, because you're going to be having a new beginning. And this is probably because we're in Taurus as well. So this is probably going to be a better month for you in some ways. Taurus had the Five of Wands last week, and that was kind of stuck in thought, Taurus. Let's see where you are this week, Taurus. I want to see. These cards are so pretty. They're so colorful, and they're again, they are the Tori Hartman cards, the Chakra Wisdom. Ooh, this one's really pretty too. And they're all these beautiful females. In case you're wondering why this card has a lot of females, I'm going to try to do that. Maybe that's better. There we go. So this is. I'm hoping you can see this. This is the Princess of Coins. Let me see if I can get this close without having such a glare. I don't know why there's so many glares, but there are. Okay, so last week you guys had, let me see where you were, Taurus. You had the Five of Wands, and now you have the Princess of Coins. Well, this is good because this is saying that you're going to be getting yourself, well, princesses are always like the heralding of like overcoming things. Like in some decks, we don't have princesses. In some decks, we do. This deck happens to have princesses, which is nice. Some of the decks that I use, like with the Roaring deck or the Thoth deck, you're going to find the princesses, and she is always a representation of. She's right before the queen, right? But she is the representation of getting over of self a lot of times. So whenever we have this Princess of Coins, right, and we talk about the coins, is like she is like showing up, and she has solutions. She's gotten over a lot of her fears, and she's like telling you to like take a look at the practicality of a situation, see what you're manifesting, and take that to like a new level. So next week for you, Taurus, you're going to be taking a look at what you have and making practical solutions. Okay. You're also going to be seeing that like you're going to have, it's a warning in some ways because it wants you to have practical solution, realistic solutions, because you may have Taurus been having a pie in the sky, kind of like dreamy on what you would like. This is showing you that you can manifest what you want, but you may need to be practical about it. The green is subjective to growth. Okay, so there's a lot of growth and understanding of what you want. Your projects that you may be doing, maybe in the beginning stages of the projects. But there's growth here, and you're manifesting and letting these things grow. So it's encouraging you, Taurus, this next week to grow. In your mind about what you want, be realistic. It's heralding in you're getting over some of your fears and your blockages, because whenever you have a princess, it's like a self realization that you can do these things, but you have to like let go of some of the like things that you think about, that may be inhibiting you. Okay. So she is showing you that next week that you're manifesting, but you've got to really understand that you've got to be practical with what you're manifesting too, so that you don't have unrealistic expectations. All right. Now, I don't know why, because I do this a little bit. Now we got a little blurry. Maybe I'm better blurry. I think I might be better blurry. What do you think? Princess of Coins. So next week, when you're looking at things, Taurus, just remember that you don't be so hard on yourself, but try to find some practical solutions, and you're going to find that you like what you're doing a little bit better. Okay, so now we go over to Gemini. Gemini last week was Queen of Cups and the Magus card. So you had a lot of things going on around you to where you were trying to be in charge and like really take care of a lot of people. And I'm now wondering, see, now I got my hand trying to get it to focus. I don't know. Will get me focused eventually. It's probably going, okay, what is she doing? um, all right. So now we go over to you, and we were saying, Gemini, this is your week. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on here. Gemini is the Seven of Cups. Now, we just talked about how, let me hold this up to you, how sevens are changes, right? Because we had a seven of swords earlier. Now, she's lying down and the cups are there, and there's kind of this blue purple. So we know that there's an education in this. It's a way of like looking at things here. The Seven of Cups is talking about changes in emotions, okay? She is not happy. Okay, if you take a look at her, she's not happy with what's going on around her. So, Gemini, you may not be happy about some of the things that you're experiencing next week. You'll have choices, okay? This is one thing I want to say, but you may not be happy about the choices that you have around you, but there is more than one choice to make the changes that you need. In some ways, this may be letting go of the old things that you were caring about. Like maybe you're like thinking of, I can see how, Gemini, you may have choices in the sense of letting go of something that wasn't working for you and it was a little emotional for you. This could be a relationship, this could be work, but being upset about like not, um, what do I want to say? When you have the Seven of Cups, you're not really happy about a lot of the choices that you've made. And I don't want you to be too hard. And then you'll have some new choices that you have to make. But I don't want you to be too hard on yourself, okay? Because sevens, we always talk about sevens being something around change. Whenever we have change, some signs find it easier than others, for sure. Gemini, because you have so many different ways of looking at things, you may be torn in the sense of like not wanting to change how you're dealing with certain things, or not liking the changes that you have to make in some ways. But it's good to let go. It's good to understand that the choices that you're given are there for you and for growth. This is one of the hardest things I think Gemini has to think about, is the fact that even though there's changes that are going on, they're there to kind of help you. They're there to help you move forward. Now, I do want to say this for a Gemini, this might be very emotionally overwhelming. Okay. That purple is talking about it being something that is like a major, kind of way you look at life. And so it might be a life situation for you next week. Know that these changes that have been happening may feel like you want to shut you down, but I don't want you to think that this is like something that is going to be always confusing. It's like sometimes you just have to make the choice, close the chapter, and move forward in a way. And you'll find that you feel better and you won't be so emotionally overwhelmed next week as soon as you make that choice and move forward. Okay. So sometimes when we have choices, different signs get affected different ways. For Geminis, these choices may be overwhelming. I just want you to know that once you make a choice and move forward, it won't feel so overwhelming to you. So know that this is something that you have to go through in order to go forward. But again, these changes are not always easy for people. So Geminis, hang in there next week, because it's going to be it's going to be kind of one of these things where it's not going to be so pleasant, but this too shall pass, and you'll find yourself in a better situation once you make those choices. Okay, over to Cancer. Last week, Cancer had the Tower, which meant a lot of things were crumbling. So this week, you may be rebuilding yourself, Cancer, and finding yourself trying to like restart, reignite, tear down what doesn't work for you, build back up something that's more solid. It may have felt like this week was just a horrible week for you, but guess what? You're almost through the week and we're going into the next week, and the next week has the Eight of Swords. Okay. The Eight of Swords is really interesting. Okay. Now, whenever I talk about swords, I talk about agitation, struggle, changes, stuff like that. And so this card is kind of interesting. You've got this woman and she's surrounded by swords, but nothing is hitting her. Okay. So she's protected. I want to point that out because I think sometimes we don't see like the importance of like some of the things that we do look like they're going to be more harmful than other. For you, Cancer, you're going to find that you are protected in a situation that is volatile. Okay. So even if stuff is going on around you that is not, um, is not healthy around you, you're going to find yourself protected, but you're also going to find yourself that protection can be very much like feeling self imprisoned. Okay. So by protecting yourself next week with your actions, Cancer, you may find that you want to shut yourself away. You may want to keep yourself away from other people. You're trying to make yourself safe and you're very defensive. Okay. So you may be feeling stuck because you have to protect yourself, like you can't move forward. You may be feeling like you're not having the movement that you want, and you're feeling very much guarded. Okay. You do this when you're not certain about things. Okay. You kind of Cancer, you like to go hide like a hermit sometimes, and this may be one way of you handling it. This orange around you is talking about using your voice and speaking up. You may find that you feel this way because nobody's listening, so you go and become more reclusive. Understand, Cancer, that this is a way of protection for you next week. That's okay. You just got through the tower and maybe you're feeling like you can't fight everything around you. And so you're going to kind of recluse. That's okay, Cancer. You got to do what you got to do. Okay. And as we get into Taurus with you, Cancer, you may be finding yourself more defensive and more into your shell than normal until you can find that balance to where you feel safe enough to speak up and to get out and to do the actions that you need to do. Know that everything that you're doing is kind of for your own protection, and Cancer is okay. Okay, Cancer, this is something that, if somebody else had the Eight of Swords, I would think, oh, they're going to protect themselves. But what I'm feeling about with you, Cancer, you're pretty much going to be a recluse with this because it's a lot that's been going on that's overwhelming. All right, so hang tight, Cancer. This too shall pass. As we get into Taurus, it's going to be better for you. I know that. Okay, I just got a ton of messages like popping up, and I will get to them in a second, I promise. But if I stop now, I'm never going to get through this. So here we go. Leo, last week, Leo, you had two wands. You were trying to deal with the duality of a situation, trying to juggle two thoughts, trying to figure out how you were going to deal with things. Let's see where you are, Leo. I want this card for you. These cards need to be better broken in. They're like all over the place. Oh, this isn't bad. This is the Six of Wands, Leo. Six of Wands, Leo. Okay. Sixes are always talking about happiness and family, and I'm trying to so it focuses. There we go. Maybe I have to get up closer. Six of Wands. She's super cool. That blue is the education, okay? We know that there's learning in this. I always say education for blue, but blue is a really cool color to find in your spread because you know that you're going to be getting some knowledge, some education. Something here is going to be teaching you about what you need to know. Okay, so when we get the Six of Wands, we know that there is some beautiful magic going on as far as what you want to have happening. It should be your ideas are coming together. You should be finding that you have other people helping you with your ideas. Um, where you were last week, Leo, was the Two of Wands, which means you were juggling different scenarios. Now you're finding this next week, not only do you have the help and the support of what your ideas are, but your ideas are looking like they're going to manifest, which is always exciting for a Leo to see, like, best laid plans actually working. You may be finding that people are helping you, like, get to where you need to be with this. It's exciting to see, uh, like like your ideas coming, like, to, like, fruition in a sense. Um, it's also telling you that, well, I want to point out something. She has her back. She's moving towards the future, okay? She's coming up into, like, where she wants to be with her ideas, but she is, like, moving forward, which may be away from the past and moving forward in the future. And there's nothing holding you back, okay? So the Six of Wands is a really cool card to have as a Leo, because you know that these ideas that you've been putting forward, that you've been struggling with and juggling, like figuring out how you're going to be doing things this next week, you're going to see that these ideas are actually, like, coming into fruition, and you have, like, that go ahead. Okay. So this is really good for you. It's a learning lesson on how to deal with things. Pay attention from the last week, like how you were, like, struggling, the duality of it, like, not sure what your decision was. And then when you actually decided to, like, move forward, things actually fell into alignment. This is a question of faith for you, Leos, in the sense of, like, putting your faith in something and seeing it starting to manifest. This is what's going to keep you in high spirits for the next few weeks and give you the energy to move forward with these ideas and make them into a realization. Okay. Now over to Virgo. Virgo had the Princess of Wands. I talked a lot about princesses earlier. I even talked about, how it has to do with a lot of self-analysis and getting over fears and whatnot. Virgo, let's take a look at where you are right now. I want this card over here. Ugh, these cards are cool, but they're slippery. Like, whenever you get new cards, they're very waxy and they kind of, like, fall all over the place. This is what these cards are doing right now for me. So I want this one for you, Virgo. Okay, well, that's funny. I just talked about how Leo had Two of Wands. Guess what? Virgo has Two of Wands this week, and I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it without all the glare. The Two of Wands. So you see this woman here. She's got these two wands, one and two. Um, and I was just talking about that juggling, okay? The Virgo has the juggling of two ideas and trying to figure out the duality of stuff. Now, a little bit different than the Leo. When a Virgo gets a Two of Wands, it's going to stress her out, because now she's concerned about how other people are going to handle how she's handling things. There's a lot of worry about, like, if she's handling them in the right way. There's a lot of worry about, like, is she making the right choices and, like, taking these two decisions that she has to do. And she's trying to figure out, what, like, which way she wants to go, in a sense, right? There's an unspoken agreement in, when we have the Two of Wands, that the two things that we have, that we're dealing with the juggling, the choices that we make are normally, they're not a bad choice, either of them. It's just, like, where you're going to put your focus on things sometimes, right? So when we see this for a Virgo, I want you to realize that you are, like, going into trying to, like, get two things going. You have to keep your authority up. You have to not worry about what other people are thinking or doing, and you just have to focus on, like, making your decision on which way you're going to go. Okay. You can probably do both things, but you may find that this takes up too much energy. And whichever choice you make here, as far as the duality of which choice you're going to make, know that, like, there is no bad choice. Okay. both choices will get you to a destination of which you want to go. This is like choosing like which path to take. Both choices will get you there. So don't stress out about it. Figure out which is emotionally better for you and then put all of your energy into the one that you need to do. Or if you want to juggle both of them, it's going to be a lot of energy, but coming from where you were coming from last week with the Princess of Wands getting past your fear, you may find you have more choices and now you're wondering what to do with them. Um, to me, you can juggle as much as you want, but at some point you're probably going to make a decision, and there is no wrong decision, is really what it is, Virgo. Imagine that. You can make a decision and there won't be a bad decision. That's not so pressureful. Okay, Libra last week had the Knight of Cups, and I remember Wendy asking me what was Libra, and I couldn't remember, and now I'm remembering. Now that I'm looking at this, it was Knight of Cups. So we had news that we were getting that we would take emotionally or like have some emotion behind. I can't even think of what that was for me this week, but some of my fellow Librans probably had this situation happening this week, and now they're dealing with what's going on with this. Okay, so we get Libra, we got the Devil card. Okay. Now, this one isn't so scary. I mean, I look at this and I'm like, okay, this isn't the worst devil card I've seen. We see this like devil behind her and her, trying to, she's holding her cup. She's trying to keep her emotions in check. And, it's something to where you don't want to look at the devil, but the devil is there. So let's talk about the devil for a second because it's such a scary card to manifest if you don't know what you're looking at, right? I mean, there's a couple, the devil, the death. There's a couple cards here that a lot of people hate getting, but the devil card is not as bad as it sounds. Basically, the devil card is talking about you're focusing on materialistic things, the things you can't take with you, like finances and, moving forward with dealing with like the stuff that like is earthly, our bills, getting like things in order. Sometimes it makes us like look at our sexuality. As a Libra, where it's hitting us right now, I really think this is about like figuring out like how to take care of the things around us, putting out the fires in a sense, making sure that like the bill collectors don't come, that we take care of the things that need to be taken care of. So the devil card, see, it's not so bad, but it like for a Libra, and I've said this to Libras before because we seem to get this card every once in a while. You're going to be doing the stuff that you don't like to do, like figuring out what your finances are and having to like pay some bills or get things done that like you didn't want to deal with, but here we are, you got to do it. It's a big deal because it's a major arcana card so far, which is really interesting. It is the only major arcana card that I've pulled all day. So we know that next week, I know you guys have heard me say this before, where there are weeks that have more major arcanas than not. We know that those are important weeks. So far, it's not a hugely important week for a lot of people in some ways. We're just going day to day. But it looks like the Libras have their tasks set out for them coming up this next week. And just know you'll be focusing on some stuff so that like it doesn't bite you in the butt later. I know I'm focusing, like I can personally say I'm going up to go get my daughter's stuff from college. Yes, it's going to take money. Yes, I'm doing it because it needs to be done finally. I mean, her stuff was there since COVID. Okay. And it closes a chapter, but it does take money to go get these things and close that door. So, it took a lot of planning too. So this is how the devil is affecting me. And hopefully pray for me that the things will go smoothly next week. Okay. Uh, Let's see. Now we're going to Scorpio. Scorpio is a 7 of 6 of swords last week, huh? All right. Well, we had a lot of things going on with you, Scorpio, last week. This week, you're going to get the 10 of swords, okay? And it's also reversed. So, I was talking about how the swords talks about agitation and like obstacles and stuff. So the Ten of Swords reverse means that you're trying to close the door on a situation, Scorpio. You're trying to end a situation, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's ending. Like it's been a bad situation. You're just trying to close the door and move forward, but you're finding that you're not able to move forward like you would like to move forward, which is very frustrating. Okay. Know that this too shall pass, Scorpio. I want you to understand something. This Ten of Swords does not mean that you're always going to be like this. It may feel like the things never change, but I guarantee you things do change. You just have to be patient, okay? Um, you may also feel like it was a horrible situation that you're getting yourself out of. A lot of times I see people who are kind of like getting into divorces or going through divorces hit the Ten of Swords. Going into this next week, what do I want to say for you? Oh, well, basically, it's not always going to be so stressful. Um, things will end. It may feel like it's never ending, the struggle that you're going through. But see, the tens are always the end of a cycle. Okay, Scorpios. So this is actually the end. It feels like it's lingering, but you're actually putting to rest something that you needed to put to rest. And you have new beginnings coming up. I mean, that's the one thing I can say is there are new beginnings coming up, and you will have those new beginnings coming up and giving you a lot of peace. But this may not feel like you feel resolved, Scorpio. Knowing you, Scorpio, and I do know you, Scorpio, you don't let things go either like very easily. So this could be lingering um, in your mind. I mean, this is basically, let's just call this like recovering from a defeat. Like, this is why I was saying this is kind of like I see this in divorces or like situations that are just lingering that are awful. You never feel real clean about it because of the fact that you just went through hell and back. But I am letting you know it is the end. It's the end of a cycle. You can look forward to new beginnings once this Ten of Swords is gone. And the sorrow that you may have around it, because this always like indicates like that you're going to be releasing a lot of energy, a lot of sorrow around this. Be okay with that. It's done. Okay. It doesn't ever have to happen again. That's why I said like you're going to be liberated from what was like you were struggling for. This is why this is like a very interesting card, especially when I see it in divorces, because like you just never have that feeling that it's clean, and you're sad, but it's done. Okay. So next week you may be feeling that, Scorpio, but also know that this too shall pass and you will get past this and you have a new future to look forward to once you get, through this. So hang tight, Scorpio. And last but not least, we have for the Sagittarius, this is interesting. I have the same card. Last week they had Three of Swords. This week they have Three of Swords again. And you also have the Ten of Cups. So the Three of Swords is saying that you're still not feeling very clear about a situation, Sagittarius. You're not sure how things are going to go. It feels like there's conflicts around you. Just pay attention to the fact that you don't have to be in the conflict, okay? It's when we see this, it means that you're also like delving into trying to make a decision, and sometimes there is no decision to make. Your mind may be going into Sagittarius, some of the places that you don't want to go. You're looking in the past sometimes, trying to figure out, what doesn't support you anymore. Like the choices that you've made or the thoughts that you've thought, the actions that you've made. There's a lot of uncertainty, unclarity. We had this last week for you, and then we had the Ten of Cups with that, which means it's got to be better. Okay. Like you will find love in the end, but it looks like you're still in this quagmire of like doubt and confusion a little bit. Hang tight because it will get better. It's rare that I see twice in a week that we like twice in 2 weeks that we get the same cards. But obviously for you, Sagittarius, this is what you're going for. In the end, I just wanted to give a hopeful card for you. You have the Empress card, which tells me that you're not going through this how do we say this? It's not in vain, because you're going to grow from this and you're going to thrive from this. So know that this is a very good card to get in the end. At the end of that confusion, it's another three. The Empress is a three card. If you see that there's green around it, there's growth, which means that you will grow through all of this uncertainty. There is some good stuff coming up for you there. Okay, now I am looking at my feed. I am done with the Lisa scope, so now I can get into this. Karen Elizabeth says, I'm excited. I will be on the ferry for Martha's Vineyard on Saturday. A new life. That's fantastic, Karen. Just hang in there. This is going to be great. It sounds like you've met the people that you were going to meet to get you a new job, and it looks like you took the new job. I'm looking forward to seeing how you feel about that. I think Martha's Vineyard is going to be a fabulous place for you to be living in this next this next phase of your life. Today is Earth Day. I'm sure people are talking about Happy Earth Day. Yeah, hey, I think that we love our earth, and to celebrate it, eat lots of salads today or something. Let's see. Mary said, boy, does the Scorpio reading make sense. I think it means the end of my husband being a partner in farming with his brother and his not so wife too. Ooh, not quite, but it's coming to an end. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. I love how you're sticking to your stories. I think this is great. I think also that, you got to do what you got to do. It's okay. Sometimes we outgrow things. I know I have like lots of comments here that I'm probably not going to be able to get to, because Chris just whispered in my ear that my time is almost up. Hopefully, I will be here next week live, but I'll probably be on the road, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But wish me luck, guys, and I wish you luck for the next week. It looks like we're transitioning into Taurus. Okay, not really major. The only person I saw that was major was Libra. But my Libra sisters and brothers over there, we can make this happen. Sometimes we got to deal with this, but everybody else, just keep calm, make good choices, keep up the good work, because we all need to be told that we're doing good work, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. But we are all about progress, not perfection, right? And this is what my motto is right now: progress, not perfection. Thank you for joining me today for the Lisa Scopes on Sounds Like Lisa here. You can always find me if you want to find me. I will be on one2listen.com doing readings. I will be there all, for the rest of the week until I leave. I will also be doing my show, like I said, on 12academy.com if you want to find some insight on how to read the cards. But until then, I wish you all well. Be your best that you can be, and have a great week. See you next week. Thank you for being here and being with me. Have a great day.